This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and this year we are saying thank you to therapists. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories and millions of journeys. Behind each one of them is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take that next step forward. Moments in therapy, like asking the right questions, having a safe place to get emotional or cry, or small wins, they can change lives. This World Mental Health Day, BetterHelp is honoring those connections and the therapists who make them possible while showing how easy it is to get guidance from a licensed therapist online with BetterHelp. I've been doing therapy for over 2 years and I couldn't recommend it enough. It's helped me so much with relationships with my friends, families, even myself. It's helped me understand myself better, and it's just made for such a better life. It really has. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for live sessions based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we are collaborating with those therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off of their first month at BetterHelp.com/PFF. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PFF. Commanders, Cowboys. This one's in Dallas. Commanders coming off a loss to the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. Cowboys coming off a loss to the Carolina Panthers. So both these teams obviously looking for a little bit of a bounce back here. NFC East showdown. It's always a lot of fun when that happens. And you get two of the most talented quarterbacks in the game going up against each other. You want to talk about the Commanders? You want to talk about the Cowboys?
Certainly two excellent quarterbacks going at it, and everyone's going to talk about that duel. But the key, as always, I think, is going to be the Commanders' their run game on offense. When you talk about if it's Jaden Daniels, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill Krosky-Merritt, whichever it is now, Jeremy McNichols, right? If it's Chris Rodriguez, a little bit, just the different ways they can run the football. And this Cowboys run defense just doesn't seem to be getting any better. Last in the league in run defense grade so far, and not only do they have the worst, right now they don't even just have the worst run defense grade for this year, they have the worst run defense grade of any team in the last 3 years. So, I mean, it's a real problem up front. Like, even with Micah Parsons, we figured the run defense would struggle, but this is at a level that we didn't even see last year. 24th in yards per carry allowed, 30th. They've allowed the third most explosive runs in football. And again, to me, the lack of adjustment from Matt Eberflus, he's just running the same defense out there all the time in these neutral situations and going, hey, split your gaps and figure it out. Don't really love it. The Cowboys have only run 14 snaps this season with at least 5 defensive linemen on the field. And it just, to me, I just go, at any point, against even just certain personnel groups, like you mentioned the Panthers with 2 tight ends on the field last week, at any point, is there any matching of the numbers game up front, or are you just going to keep letting this front four get killed and letting the offensive line have free access to your linebackers? Because that's really where it starts, no matter who your players are, and especially if they're going to lose the battle more often than that. No matter who your players are, the run game is always about numbers. And hat-on-hat football is something talked about all the time on offense. Well, you have to match that, and you got to have one more, and you got to bring people into the box. I'm like, at this point with this Commanders team, and if Terry McLaurin's out again, I would take my chances with them throwing vertically down the field because they haven't been able to without McLaurin. You can't let this Commanders team go in there and run for 220, 230 on you, or they're going to control the game. They're going to keep Dak off the field. You got to put, to me, that's where I start. I go, okay, any thoughts about putting extra guys either on the line of scrimmage or in the box to help out? Because so far they're staying in their normal fronts, and it's just not working.
This game is really tough for me to pick because it's the stoppable force versus the movable object, I think, on both sides of the ball. You mentioned how the Commanders are at their best when they're really able to run the football, and they should be able to, especially with, like you mentioned, how Eberflus has not been willing to put a 5th defensive lineman on the line of scrimmage to really try to get a hat for a hat and try to improve that run game. The Commanders are just going to take that all night long. They'll run the football. They've got a ton of different running backs they can hand the ball off to. Obviously, Jaden is a threat himself with his legs. They're going to run the football. I think it will in this game. But I think on the flip side, Dak Prescott, which there's an argument that nobody's playing quarterback better than Dak Prescott right now. It's kind of an at-will thing with the passing game against the Commanders secondary as well, specifically their corners. 51.0 coverage grade. That's 28th in the NFL this season from just their cornerbacks. So you're mainly looking at Mike Sainristil, you're looking at Marshawn Lattimore, and you're looking at Trey Amos. Trey Amos, the rookie, at a 68.2, is their highest graded cornerback this season. Sainristil is really struggling. He's given up 21 open targets so far this season, 56.8 open target percentage. He had a 46.8 number last season, so that's 10% higher this year. Lattimore has struggled as well, and the thing is, Dalton, there's some positive momentum for CeeDee Lamb coming back for this game. And we've seen what Dak's been able to do without CeeDee Lamb. You put CeeDee Lamb in this game with what George Pickens has been able to do over the last couple of weeks and how Ryan Flournoy has been good and getting the ball to Jake Ferguson's been an effective strategy for them as well. I think the Commanders are going to be able to run the ball at will, but it kind of feels like the Cowboys and Dak Prescott might be able to pass their way to a victory as well. So this one's going to be close for me. I'm going to have the Cowboys win in this game because it's in Dallas. I think they're going to have a little bit of extra juice, and especially if they get CeeDee Lamb back. But I'll be a coward here, and I'll say the Cowboys win 28-27. I'm going to go a 1-point game here. I think it's kind of a coin flip with whichever weakness is masked the most on either side. But ultimately, I think that it's really tough to stop a hot quarterback when your secondary is really struggling. So I'll go with the Cowboys here.
I mean, if they were to get CeeDee Lamb back, it would be just that could be the thing that changes this game. Love the quote here today from Brian Schottenheimer because CeeDee Lamb is going to practice today. Someone asked him, okay, what do you need to see from CeeDee? And he goes, yeah, if he's breathing, I'd feel pretty good. That's about right. That's how glad he is to have that guy back. And if you have those two threats with Pickens and Lamb now working together, especially as well as Pickens has been playing, you can win this ball game. I think especially if CeeDee is back in this game and the Commanders struggles at corner, it's a 50-50 game. I'm going to go on the other side of the coin. Commanders 31-28, but I'm with you. I think we're getting a shootout because you have two teams who know how to attack the other's weaknesses right now. The Commanders' run game against Dallas front seven, and then those receivers, especially if CeeDee is back against Washington their corners, that's a big mismatch.